Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Power Hour of Self-Care. I'm Annette Chiappe, and you are listening to the Mental Health Warriors. I will be right back after our intro. I have a wonderful topic for you today, and I'll explain it shortly. Be right back. And welcome back, viewers. Thank you for joining me, and welcome everyone who's going to be watching later. Today, I'm talking again about PTSD, how it affected my life, the recovery, and also about my mindfulness inner peace coloring books, which I created. Um, I want to share with you a little bit first about where I've been recently with myself, uh, helping myself with managing my triggers. I've had a lot of triggers this week, and unfortunately, or fortunately, sometimes you have to look at it both ways, is the anger kept coming up for me. I used to struggle a lot with when I had my deep episodes of mental illness with trying to control everything, and that's one of the strongest things I experienced, and it crept up for me this week because of certain elements in my life that are beyond my control. And it helped me to start to realize that having had traumas from my past, that thinking about them and dwelling on them will cause me to connect them to a lot of issues that are happening currently. So I'll take the example and share it with you so you can pretty much understand where I'm coming from. So, when I was going through my mental health issues, um, relationships for me are the toughest, especially intimate ones with someone I loved. And so when they weren't doing what I expected them, it would trigger me. It would cause me to grasp at straws to make them listen to what my needs were, not focusing on what their needs were, and I would just go around in this loop. And then my expectations would slowly spin out of control, which I learned a long time ago was, anger really stemmed from improper expectations, which then led to frustration because I kept holding on to the improper expectation. And then it would end up with me getting angry because nothing could possibly live up to my expectations, and then it would turn into violence. So my mental illness, my PTSD, covered a lot of self-inflicted damage to myself. I bear scars from it, and I share that with the world because self-harm is one of the biggest things I've noticed around mental illness and our mental health. It's not frequently talked about by by people unless they're in therapy usually, but I think when it comes down to needing some support, uh, eventually it all came out. So the self harm tied into where I'm going to lead into where I develop my coloring books, because self harm, I always talk about self care because I'm always trying to promote, being taking care of yourself. What does that look like? But today I want to share a little bit about my recovery and what my self harm looked like, and why the mindfulness coloring books came about. Because self-harm comes in many, many forms. Now, for my continuingly, uh, getting into relationships that were dysfunctional. Now, I didn't know at the time, but I later learned that the reason I continually got into dysfunctional relationships was because I wasn't aware that the traumas needed to be dealt with in order to learn and grow into loving myself. So the self-harm came in the form of being in a relationship with people that suffered with addictions. Now, like attracts like, and everyone, to I believe to some degree, has some form of mental health issue at some time in their life. So I would be attracted to these people and sweet and great, and I would get involved in these relationships. And usually it involved either alcohol or drugs. And it me too, I'm guilty of escaping with substance abuses. My main one was food. And so I needed an outlet. I needed a teacher, first of all. I needed a teacher to help me to recognize all the areas of my life that I wasn't dealing with. And a lot of times I didn't recognize in myself that my mental illness was just the fact that I wouldn't deal with helping myself get better. And I know there are some mental illnesses that are untreatable, but speaking for myself, the main thing that I discovered was if I wanted to get better, I had to find more constructive, positive methods of looking after myself. So, um, therapy, when I started therapy back in 2000 and what was that? 10, and then again in 2013, it was really eye-opening to learn that the reason I needed therapy was because of the traumas. Now, I thought I needed therapy to help me to fix the people around me, not fix myself. But it all came down to a couple of things. And earlier, I wanted to share something with you, and I'll share it with you now before I forget again. But I'm always reading, and I then take my readings and turn them into intuitive spiritual readings because I've learned so much from the wisdom of these books. So I'm currently reading Loving Kindness, and it's by the author Sharon Salzberg. I think I pronounced that right. And this is the book here. I'll show it to our viewers. And I'm really enjoying it because, of course, one of my books titles is called Kindness from the series. And she has a very brief message for love. Loving kindness is in metta, which is the meaning of love, loving kindness. And she has a prayer that you can say to yourself, say to others. And there's different practices in this book that you can explore. And the prayer goes like this: May I be free from danger. May I have mental happiness. May I have physical happiness. And may I have ease of well being. And you take that same poem, and I'd like to share that for the viewers today. May you be free from danger. May you have mental happiness. May you have physical happiness. And may you have ease of well being. It's very profound. I find myself journaling in the mornings and writing all about what I read a lot. And it opens up my heart to being further connected with the world. And so, going back to the story about my therapy and finding more constructive ways to help my mental health was creating my series, Love, Kindness, and Compassion, the Inner Peace Mindfulness Coloring Books. And the first one in the series is love. This is it here. Okay. And what I wanted to do was share with you a little bit about the structure of the books and how they came to be. So I was searching for a way to reach the universe, to reach people, to reach humanity, find and send messages. So I was coloring and in other authors' coloring books. And I was really enjoying what I was doing. It was very peaceful for me and therapeutic. And what happened was I got an idea to take some of the artwork I was doing and put it on t-shirts and with special messages for people who purchase the t-shirts with something specific to their struggles with their mental health. Well, what happened was because of my legal background, I wrote the authors of these books to give me permission for copyright. And well, they didn't get back to me. So I decided that I would and I could do this myself. And I started drawing, and the stuff just poured out of me. And I discovered as I created each page that I started to feel this feeling of love within me just come out through the drawings and into the drawings. So I said, well, then why not create a book about it? And I decided, well, since I'm coloring, the connection is to coloring books. So they are mindfulness tools, which I use in my practice and learn to love myself in my business. And each one is very unique because it contains also enlightened life messages. So I'll read one to you. This one is very dear to my heart because I love children. And it says, when we look into the eyes of children, the heart aches and swells with love. There is truth in just their presence. Experience life through their eyes and learn just how special love really is. And to give you a little bit of background on that, it was a time in my life when I was separated from my children when this book first came out. So I had gone to visit them, but I was still not we weren't in the same country. And I always recalled how my heart would just feel like it was blowing up with this feeling of joy and love when I looked into the eyes of children, because I also was working as a nanny at the time. And the connection I feel is very peaceful when I'm with children. And I felt so much truth in their presence. I felt calm and at peace. Even when they're being little tyrants, there was that gap in time, right? In the flow of time, where my head and my heart would say, just step back with a minute and look at them with just loving kindness, just with some compassion, and let them get through what they're going through and assist them. So that's where I experience, while looking at them through their suffering and through their joys and everything, that I was learning just how special love really was through the eyes of children, through being in the presence of them. And that's why I wrote this page. And so each book is accompanied with the map on the other side with another doodle, right? And then at the back, I wrote in each book, explore techniques. So this is the page in volume 1, love. And then I just share with everybody about within all of us is a divine creator. And I really love sharing with people when I'm out at markets and when I'm talking to people on podcasts and about the divine creator in us. And I think making the connection between mental illness and spirituality has been the main factor of why I healed so rapidly, how I let go of my traumas, how I worked on myself so much, because I understood once I grasped that I was in charge of my own mental health and that I could let go of traumas, that, wow, there was a divine creator in me. I didn't create the traumas. Okay. Those things happened to me, but I continued to keep them alive by focusing on them and thinking about them and dwelling on them. And the negative energy that was inside of me from all of it. And so doing the coloring books was the prime factor of where I am today, being able to do these podcasts and share love with you and express that I love what we all do on the Mental Health Warriors, helping to end the stigma. And so in the book, I continue to share with people about how artwork is self-expression from the heart. Our beliefs, feelings, and desires come out when we draw. I discovered art to be one of the best forms of self-care anyone can do. So I enclosed 5 additional pages, which were partially drawn. And I encourage people with some suggestions and techniques that I learned along the way to doodle within the doodles in the book, right? So this is a partially drawn page. And every one of them is the same. So that one is love. And I wanted to share something a little bit about love before I go on to the next book. And I'm coming back to loving kindness because she put in here a quote from the Buddha. And I absolutely adore the Buddha. I believe in all of his practices. And she calls this breaking open the loving heart. That's what the chapter is. But his quote is as follows. The thought manifests as the word. The word manifests as the deed. The deed develops into habit. And habits harden into character. So watch the thought and its ways with care, and let it spring from love, born out of concern for all beings. And this reading from the Buddha connects so deeply with me for my books because these books were born out of concern of all beings. I didn't create these just to color for myself, although I do color very frequently. I do color frequently in them, and I hold mindfulness classes with people for them. But the response I get and the money I raise every time I sell a book has profoundly moved me to continue this mission of helping people with their mental wellness. Hence why I'm on the Mental Health Warriors. And I love the fact that I get to share joy and all the benefits of hearing someone say, I know someone who needs this. Not, oh, I think they'd want this. It's they need this. And so continuing along the path, I came to my next volume, which is kindness. Okay. So kindness, of course, will have all the enlightened life messages about being kind to yourself, to others, and to the environment. Hence the cute drawing I did about, in the clouds and the tears and the hearts, and the time to care is now for our planet, for the people and the animals. We can't just care for ourselves without caring for the environment and for caring for others. So this one here, I always put something in here about children. I don't want to read something too similar. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is very close to my heart because it speaks volumes about me. Most that have struggled in life are the same that give an abundance of kindness to others. Now, I can't imagine not being kind to a stranger. I can't even imagine today not being kind to the system. Okay. And the system, what I'm speaking about is the systems in place that govern society, right? So the reason I'm kind to the systems is because when I'm not kind. I'm the one suffering. I'm the one angry. I'm the one um, forced to relive and not help, right? So when we speak of systems, any system, government systems, political systems, I guess they're one and the same, school systems, um, doesn't mean you don't take action, right? When we're passionate about change and we want to help our mental health, we must take action. So um, I don't want to struggle with systems. I want to be free from them. I am pretty much free from them, although people around me are struggling with them. Right. So the best thing I can do is to continue my mission the way I best know how, which is I hope to one day get my coloring books into the school systems. And I've had people say, well, you should send your books to political leaders. And I'm like, yeah, that would be a pretty brave thing to do, way beyond my anxiety level. But there are opportunities always arising, and I'm not afraid to take them. I may be scared, reckless doing it, but um, with the right people and with the right circumstances, I can get there. I was approached by other systems, which are um, more positive ones that I'd like to think of, like the Parkinson's Society, which is, for me, they're still like a system because they have their rules and their regulations and what you're supposed to do and who you're helping. And I'm expressing myself when it comes to how to help break down systems. I'm better at just being loving, kind, and compassionate to them and understanding that they're just like a corporation, human beings behind a name, right? So, um, if you got a bunch of human beings all with the same idea, then now you've got a system, right? You've got a program, and they want you to follow their program. The only is being loving, kind, and compassionate. And if I can't fit in that program, then I just don't go there. And that's why these books function so well for individuals who say, I know a person who needs more love. They buy the love book. I know a person who needs volume 3, compassion. A lot of people don't understand that compassion is not just having empathy for somebody. Compassion is when, for example, in this saying, when someone is grieving a loss, no advice is required. Your compassion is. And that sometimes just means being quiet, holding their hand, giving them a hug. It doesn't mean you have to say anything. And, coloring quietly with someone is very compassionate. The other day, my father-in-law was struggling with depression, and I just sat and said, what do you, right? So expressing compassion is just basically just being there for someone. And it took me a long time to learn that because if you remember in the beginning, I was always trying to be controlling of relationships. I was not compassionate at all with people. It was always about me, right? It had to be what my needs were. And that's not to say I don't put my self care first, right? I always put my self care first. But when there's somebody struggling and you're able to just sit there compassionately and listen to them, then that's my choice, right? If I'm in the middle of washing dishes and somebody's saying, I'm depressed, I need somebody to listen to me, the dishes can wait, right? So I sat down and I listened. And it gave me peace of mind knowing that they felt confident enough to and trusting enough in me to sit and listen and not judge how they're feeling and not judge or tell them what to do. I always love to make suggestions, but suggestions can be taken or left, and takes my suggestion. And I learned to always make it a suggestion and saying, you should do this and you should do that, because then you're just like a system, right? You're trying to tell people instead of helping them awaken their intuition and learn for themselves what they really need. Um, there we are teachers and we are always a student in life. And I like being both. And sometimes I need a teacher, and sometimes I need a student. And the coloring books, because I enjoyed, I decided to connect them to the Canadian Mental Health Association. So, uh, one of the most compassionate things I think I can do is give back to the society, um, through an organization like the Canadian Mental Health Association, to give money, right? To make sure that some families are helped. You know, I tried other organizations, giving money to them, and it just didn't feel right. Everyone needs to give in some form or shape. And I used to give to food banks. I used to just give to people on the street. And I will still do those things occasionally, but because the Canadian Mental Health Association was there for me in my hour of need, I felt there was no better place to direct funds to than with them. And combining my efforts with other people, I have a wonderful friend, Nelia, who does Travel, Live, Give, and she does a ukulele project, and she raises money for people in other countries. I felt, I'll take my message along with her message and share the importance of mental wellness. Now, absolutely what she's doing is about mental wellness. I totally love what she's doing, and grateful that so just to close, I'm not going to do an hour-long show today. I don't have a guest, but I wanted to share the last book, which is the youth edition. And this is the youth edition here. And the reason I put the tree on was because it's just so pretty. It has no specific meaning or anything, except I thought it was beautiful. Inside, I have this cute little doggy, right? I colored him. And do you see that? Do you see the joy on my face when I talk about youth? And I do volunteer for youth in here close near my home in Stainer, and doing mindfulness classes with them. And just thinking about it, it just gives me such joy. It does. My mental health has improved tenfold because of all the giving, the donation of the monies from the sales of my books, um, the thought of people giving, they need this. I hope, I'm going to follow up with people that they've actually sat down and colored with them. And, it's very motivating and inspiring if you do things like that. And you're going to give people joy, and they'll know that you care. Right? So that's the youth edition, and it's got some really cute and fun doodles in it. And again, like every book, it has the back section about the divine creator. And parents can, if the children are very young, I recommend this book for children between the ages of 6 and 12, or 6 and any age, because we're all kids at heart. So if you haven't checked out my webpage, uh, you can go on Facebook and Instagram. And I tell you, these books in themselves have been a true miracle just for myself, helping my mental health, helping me help others, helping me open a door into the world of wellness. And Uh, every year that I write a check to the Canadian Mental Health Association is one more year of me being connected to the healing of this planet. Um, like I said in the beginning, mental illness and spirituality are very, very deeply connected. And uh, I will always work on mine. I will always be here for their mental wellness. And today, just before coming on, because I do get a lot of anxiety coming on and speaking on a podcast, I did a 15-minute meditation. And so that was my self care for today. That's what it looked like. That's what I needed. I knew that's what I needed. And I hope that you today, the viewers who have been watching, will do something, even a minimal 5 minutes of sitting outside, enjoying the beautiful weather, or talking to a friend, or a bubble bath, or maybe go knit, enthusiast, go out and tinker on your car. Um, like the boyfriend does. He goes out and cleans his motorcycle. Although now we have snow, he's a little depressed that he had to put it away. But, don't stay there. Reach out, reach out to family, reach out to your church, reach out to your faith, reach out to your friends, reach out to us. We're always here for you. We have amazing warriors that come on. They're from UK and United States, Australia, here in Canada. I'm here. Ending the stigma takes all of us, and sharing these videos, encouraging people to subscribe and like our videos. Please do so. And I hope to see you on my next show, which is coming up actually this coming Monday, November 28th. And I'm hosting a panel with men and their mental wellness. And it's going to be a very moving show. So I hope you will watch. And again, I thank you so kindly from the bottom of my heart that you're by watching these podcasts. I wish you a most fantastic day. Bye for now.